So today's topic is NCERT 12th Standard Physics, second chapter 2.9 Electrostatics of Conductors. Conductors contain mobile charge carriers. Mobile charge carrier means the charges will move, usually electrons. In metallic conductors, these charge carriers are electrons. So if you consider metallic carriers, these charge carriers are electrons. Usually we call it as free electrons. In a metal, the outer valence electron. So you know what is valence electron. So the number of electrons in the outermost shell. Suppose here I have shown this is the nuclear first shell, first orbit, second orbit, third orbit, and fourth orbit. If it contains 4 electrons, then the 4 electrons is called the valence electron. That is, the number of electrons in the outermost shell is called valence electron. Part away from their atoms and are free to move. Part away. Initially it is attached to the parent atom. So assume 4 valence electrons. So it is attached to the parent atom. But when we give slight energy, so that it gets removed from the parent structure and becomes a free electrons, and they are free to move. That's the meaning. These electrons are free within the metal. So if you consider a conductor, say aluminum, copper or anything, they are free to move inside the conductor randomly. If we don't give any external energy, an external supply or an external electric field. So they are free to move within the metal but not free to leave the metal. So it cannot move away from the metal. Okay. The free electrons form a kind of gas. That means you have a conductor. The valence electrons are removed from the parent structure, and once it is free, it starts moving and it forms a kind of gas. They collide with each other. So since it is randomly moving, the electrons will collide with each other and it takes a different direction. It is not a directed direction, and with the ions and move randomly in different directions. So they move in different direction. Suppose if you consider electrolytic conductors, now we were dealing with metallic conductors. Suppose electrolytic conductors means it has positive and negative anode, cathode, and you have an electrolyte and ions, anions, cations are formed. So in electrolytic conductors, the charge carriers are both positive and negative ions. So you have both positive and negative ions. Whereas in metallic conductors, you have free electrons. That free electron will start moving. Okay, this electron, if it starts moving here, then this becomes positive. That means electron removed from one place will become positive. But in electrolytic conductors, we have both positive and negative ions. But the charge carriers is affected both by the external field and chemical forces. That is, in electrolytic conductors, we need to give a supply. So anode, cathode. So we need to give a supply, and you have an electrolyte. Okay, that means an electric field is required, as well as the chemical reaction, chemical forces also involved in electrolytic conductors. Now we are going to consider some important points in electrostatic conductors. Okay, some major important point that we have to remember. Inside a conductor, so now we are dealing with only with the metallic conductor, not with the electrolytic kind of conductors. Inside a conductor, electrostatic field is 0. That means inside a conductor, say a copper wire, the electrostatic field inside the conductor is 0. At the surface of the charged conductor, electrostatic field must be normal to the surface at every point. That means if you consider a spherical surface, the electrostatic field must be normal. So if you consider this point, it will be normal here. If you consider this point, this will be normal to the surface at every point. So every point, the electrostatic field, E field, will be normal to that surface. This we have seen already in Gauss law. Third point, the interior of conductor can have no excess charge in the static situation. That means you cannot have excess charge in the static situation. If I say static situation means the charges are not moving here and there. Suppose if you have any additional charges, that will appear only in the surface of the conductor, not inside the conductor. So the third point is the interior of conductor can have no excess charge in the static situation. This is third point. Now fourth point, electrostatic potential is constant throughout the volume of the conductor. Suppose this has some volume. The electrostatic potential, now we deal with V, potential, is constant throughout the volume of the conductor. Inside the conductor, the volume is constant even though the shape is irregular and has the same value on its surface. So the V, electrostatic potential inside the conductor and on the surface of the conductor, the value is same. It is not going to change. Next point, electric field at the surface of the charge conductor. Now we are dealing with electric field. Now you deal with the surface of the charge conductor, E field. Assume the field is directed outwards. So the electric field is given by sigma divided by epsilon naught n cap. N cap is the unit normal vector directed outwards and is perpendicular to the surface, where sigma is the surface charge density. We have already seen three types of charge density: linear charge density, surface charge density, and volume charge density. Here we deal with surface area, therefore surface charge density, that is electric field at a particular point is equal to sigma. Sigma is the surface charge density divided by epsilon naught. Epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space, and n cap is the unit normal vector. So if you want to consider only the magnitude, then you can write it as sigma, magnitude of sigma divided by epsilon naught. This is the fifth point. Sixth point, electrostatic shielding. This is very important point. Whatever be the charge and field configuration outside any cavity in a conductor, so outside and any cavity within the conductor, so we are considering a cavity within the conductor and outside the conductor. So whatever be the charge and field configuration outside this conductor, any cavity in a conductor remains shielded. That means this cavity remains shielded. Shielded means no outward electric field force will affect this inside cavity from outside electrical influence. The field inside the cavity is always zero. So the field inside this cavity is always zero, that is E is equal to 0. This is known as electrostatic shielding. Suppose if you want to protect some highly sensitive circuits from field outside, electrostatic field which is going to affect that system, then you can always have a conductor and place the system inside. So what will happen is, even the outside force tries to attack the cavity, it is not allowed to go inside the conductor. And moreover, what usually done by the industrial people is, this outside conductor is connected to 0. That means this field is already 0. If at all it tries to influence the inside cavity, it does not happen. Therefore, this is protected from electrical influence, electric field influence, and that is called as electrostatic shielding. Now we have seen all the major points related with electrostatics. So in a nutshell, we have to see the important points. Okay. Now this is a conductor. I have taken a irregular conductor. The electric field is 0 and the volume charge density is 0 inside the conductor. This is first point. And the electric field, if at all is there, it is directed normal to the surface, E field. Now second point is, for the same irregular conductor, the potential, electrostatic potential within the conductor is V0 and on the surface is also V0. So inside and outside, outside means the surface of the conductor is V0. That means electrostatic potential is same. Now here if you see, it's a irregular boundary conductor. We have positive charge This side, assume negative charge is this side. So the electric field is directed outside since it is contains positive charge. If it is going to consider has negative charge, the electric field is directed inside. And we deal with the sigma. Sigma is the surface charge density. Rho is the volume charge density. So sigma is del Q by del S. If sigma surface charge density is greater than 0, that means it is positive. It is directed, electric field is directed outside, and the direction of the electric field is perpendicular to the area of this surface. It will be in perpendicular each point. Now if it is going to be negative charge, the electric field is directed inwards, and that is also perpendicular to the area vector of the surface. Therefore, E field, electric field, is equal to sigma divided by epsilon naught n cap. So, sigma greater than 0, electric field is directed outside. Sigma less than 0, electric field directed towards inside or the surface of the conductor. Now, we have already seen electrostatic shielding. If at all you want to protect from electrostatic fields, what you can do is you can house those components inside the metallic conductor. Positive or negative charge will not penetrate inside and affects the cavity. That means inside the cavity, electric field is 0 and also the surface charge density is also 0. And this is called electrostatic shielding. And moreover, I told you, usually in general practice, whatever the circuit has to be protected is kept inside, and outer you have a metallic conductor, and usually that conductor is connected to ground. So if at all an electric field tries to penetrate the outer conductor, it is not allowed because the electric field inside the conductor is 0 and the surface charge density is 0. So in a nutshell, if you remember this diagram with the proper explanation, you will come to know what are the basic properties of electrostatics. Especially we are dealing with metallic conductors. We have not touched upon electrolytic conductors because we are dealing only with metallic conductors. These are some of the important points we should keep in mind forever. Thank you for your attention. Thank you. Nandri.